Hello and welcome to the West Yorkshire Football Show live. I'm Steven Browne and we're taking a look at all things Huddersfield Town. And I'm delighted to say joining us as ever is the Huddersfield Hub, Steve Downs. Steve, how are we doing, mate?
Not bad. How are you?
Good. Thank you very much. It's the end of the season. I can't believe it. The season is over. Huddersfield remain in the Championship. It was confirmed after the Sheffield United result, but it was the final game of the season against Reading last weekend. It was a 2-0 win. Pretty inconsequential match, but thoughts on the game generally?
Yeah, well, it was just a lovely sort of end of the season match, really. It was nice that there was nothing riding on it because we'd done the job on the Thursday night before. And yeah, by all accounts, I wasn't sadly at the fixture, but by all accounts, the Reading played, pretty decently. But we had too much quality in the end, and the second half showed. And the two lads that scored have scored some vital goals this season since Warnock has come in. So it was a good end to the season. Nice that Neil got that send off really at the end with a win. He instructed the players that he wanted to get to 53 points. That was pretty much unthinkable after the Norwich City game. And we've done it. So yeah, what a nice end to the season.
Yeah, absolutely. The goals as well were exceptional, weren't they?
Oh yeah, Hungbo's finish is just out this world, really. I mean, probably one of the goals of the season for Town. Not that we scored many, but yeah, it was a great strike. And the other finish by Josh was quality as well into the other corner. So top quality finishes, and just imagine what we could have done this season if we'd have had Neil in charge for the full whack, and you'd have had the boys playing like they have been for the last 10 games or so.
Yeah, absolutely. I think chance of one more year were echoing around the ground, weren't they? At the full-time whistle there, trying to tempt old Warnock back into another year, but it's not going to happen, is it, Steve?
Well, Sharon was in the stadium, so just a call out to Sharon. Thanks for letting Neil come for the last 15 games. But if you fancy sticking around home Firth, I know that you liked it back there in 1995, and so did Neil. So you never know. One more year, Neil. Come on, just give us one more year. You can make it to retire. 75's young for a manager, isn't it? So,
well, do you know what it is?
Sorry.
But do you know what it is about him though? The way he comes across, though, it seems like he's younger, doesn't it? He's still got the vibrancy, the energy, the enthusiasm, and you can see the way that's infected the team as well.
Yeah, I think obviously we don't see the him on a daily basis, do we? But, when he goes home at night and how much the stress and strain of the job has taken out at him. So
Yeah.
I think that's got to be given into consideration. The fact he's 74, and but in the public tone, when he has been in the public, he's been as fresh as a newborn chicken, really. He's, like I said, still got the energy, the vibrancy, the enthusiasm, which has been fantastic to see. And he just admits the love of the game, doesn't he? So,
yeah.
I would have thought that. I get the impression, like I've said for the last few weeks, I think he wants that time now back with Sharon and his family, and I think he's got quite a few grandkids, which I think were at the game on Sunday, and that's nice for him, and he wants to spend that quality time with them now rather than what we're doing for pre-season, lads. You know what I mean? So, thank him for what he's done. It's a miracle he created. Definitely a miracle. I don't care what anybody says. And he can go back to his tractor and be happy as a lamb, really. And we'll see what our new owner comes up with and who he wants in the dugout. I'm sure there's lots of options. We mentioned quite a few of them, I think, a few weeks ago. There are rumours that Nathan Jones might be in the offing. Kevin, we'll have a chat.
What do you feel about that?
Don't go for Nathan Jones. He's an absolute psycho. So, to put it bluntly, So don't go for Nathan Jones. That's not a good start.
What are you talking about? His Southampton team were one of the best teams in Europe, apparently.
In some sort of upside down sort of Revenge of the Sith sort of world. Yeah. And don't go for any Americans, particularly ones called Bob Bradley or Jesse Marsh.
I would love that. I'm not going to lie. I would love it if Jesse Marsh popped up at Huddersfield Town. I don't think you'll plumb those depths.
No, well, Nathan Jones is plumbing even depth further than Jesse Marsh, so let's not go there either. But I trust so far. I trust in what Kevin said, but I'd like to hear a bit more. But yeah, just finally on the game, it was good to send Neil off.
Yeah, absolutely. It was nice to see at the end as well when he was clapping the fans. It looked quite emotional, actually. It looked like it was something he was really savouring.
Yeah, I think he said, didn't he, that coming back was an emotional grab for him, and it was his biggest job that he was going to ever do in his career. I know a lot of people outside of the area and the club, even such as yourself on the, the fact that you live around here, that what the task that he had in his hand, and but people outside of that sphere still would say that his promotions are the biggest success. But for him himself to say, look, this is the biggest job he's ever had to do in his career, I think that speaks volumes, and that's why I and a lot of other fans say it is a born miracle. 15 games ago, we were down. We were bottom, maybe not bottom, but we were definitely second or third bottom. And really the club was looking like it was going to go into administration. There were lots of problems with injuries around the club, and there wasn't any enthusiasm, no expertise, no experience. And within a game, I mean, we beat Birmingham that day, and that set us off. Yes, we had 2 4-0 defeats after that, and against Norwich we drew, but and I thought it might have been a step too far for him. But to get 7 wins, out of your, last, unbelievable. I can get some. I'll try and find some stats.
Well, I agree. I think it's a miraculous job he's done there. I mean, considering you were in 23rd on 28 points and you finished on 53 points, I think is incredible. And they've lost just one of the final 10 fixtures as well, which is incredible. When you think when he came in, how hard those fixtures were that were lining up. I mean, I think we all thought they were done.
Here we go. Some end of season stats. These are some stats. During Neil Warnock's 15-game tenure, Town won 7 games, which is as many as we'd had managed in the previous 31 fixtures under Schofield, Palash and Fotheringham. Although admittedly a small sample, but against very difficult oppositions, Warnock's win rate was a 46.7% and is the best since Lee Clark's 48% from 2008 to 12. Also, Warnock's ratio of 1.67 points per game, 3 points per win era, is the second only to Clark, who got 1.76. So Lee Clark had 3 years to get that ratio, and Warnock's done it in 15 games. That's just outstanding. Once again, Town were not awarded even one home penalty. That's now over 2 years and 2 months since the last home penalty was awarded, which was against Cardiff City on the 5th of March 2021 and was missed by Sinogo on debut. Yeah, he actually played for us. I forgot him. That was during the COVID pandemic, and so the ground was shut at all times. You have to go back to 25th of February 2020 and Carlan Grant's penalty against Bristol City for the last time any paying customer saw Town take an actual spot kick at home.
Wow. Phenomenal stuff. Yeah, it says it all, doesn't it? Really. Adam, thanks for your comment, mate. Warnock was a legend to me before he arrived. He's now achieved godlike status in my eyes. What a guy! Yeah, I can't think of many Huddersfield Town fans that would disagree with that. Huddersfield Town Fan TV, King Warnock can build the statue now. There we go. There we go.
He deserves a statue or, a plaque of some sort. I think outside the ground, that would be a lovely touch if Kevin and whoever the new ownership decided to do that. The fact that he now can come in as new owners and with a solid sort of base to start in the championship again. If we'd have gone down to League One, that'd have been disastrous. I don't care what any fan says. Going down is not an option. We'll see with Reading next season. It'll be very tough for them to come back up. No mistake about it. The League One at the moment is like a shark's nest, really. Yeah. It's ridiculous the amount of good clubs that are in League One. So going down to that level was not going to be really an option. And thankfully we've survived and they've gone down. But he should be recognised in some sort of way. I think that would be sensible, to be honest.
Yeah, if you had to point at one thing that he did when he came in, would you say it was giving confidence to the players, or was it something tactical? What, if you could kind of put your finger on it, what would you say it is that he brought the team?
Calmness. I think just being calm, not panicking when we're under pressure and there's a mistake, and letting the lads enjoy the fact that, all right, not enjoying the fact that we're in the relegation zone, but I genuinely think because he brought that sort of calm, knowledgeable atmosphere, that it just made the players relax and be able to perform to the levels that we've either previously seen or we were expecting at the start of the season. I mean, to turn players like Ruffles and Josh Carome around, who had previously either been bombed out the squad or by any Town fan had no future at the club, was a remarkable achievement. And then to give confidence to the younger lads. Diarra played well. Obviously, Jack Radoni, who I said would be a good player for Town at the start of the season. Obviously, he's had a very up and down campaign, but Warnock has been able to bring the best out of him and probably become a more commanding midfielder, which hopefully we'll go on to see next season. Hungbo, the loanee from Watford's performed well under Warnock. Previously, he was in and out of the team. You didn't really know what you were getting. And then, he's made players like Danny Ward, who are obviously solid players, but be even more active on the field and bring their A game. Hellick, a good player that we knew we were getting from Barnsley, but has obviously gone on to win the player of the season and being the fans' choice, which I can't disagree with, although I voted for Matty Pearson, who I think has been outstanding, and in the last 14, 13 games, I know he's had a bit of an injury for quite a bit of the time of the season, so he probably would have won the player of the season if he hadn't been injured. And Tom Lees has been steady as well, so it's just that overall calmness, knowledge and experience, and just, right, lads, just relax, have a bit of time on the ball and just, instead of panicking and making mistakes, at every opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. Huddersfield Town Fan TV, thanks for your comments, mate. Considering the player's confidence was on the floor when he came in, it's amazing what a bit of belief and confidence does. Indeed, Adam, Warnock brought a togetherness we've not seen since Wagner. Man management was key. Yeah, absolutely. I don't think anyone would argue with that. You mentioned there, Steve, that Kevin Nagel, the prospective owner in waiting, was in attendance, and he obviously looked absolutely delighted at the end of the game, because you can imagine what a different prospect it would have been if you were owner of a club in League One versus the Championship. What happens next in your eyes? What does a club have to do? Because although it's a massive relief now that the season is over and you've kept your place in the Championship, where do you see this moving forward now, and what needs to be done?
Well, it's obviously, for the last 15 games of the season, it's all been centred towards us staying up in the Championship and giving Neil the best opportunity to do that. That's now happened. And behind the scenes, we know that Neil Baldwin Dean Hoyle and the other board members have been hard at work behind the scenes to try and get a deal done with Kevin Nagle. That was announced a month or two ago. And since then, it's been relatively quiet, really. He's put a couple of tweets out, more and more so lately, I think, as the deal has progressed, to fans just wishing us good luck and being a bit more vocal, which is lovely to see, even though he's not taking over the club. He recently did a podcast, well, not a podcast, but an interview on a podcast over in America, which has just come out in the last day or so, which was really interesting to listen to. He was looking forward to being over here. I know on Twitter he asked for his who was the favourite fish and chip shop in Huddersfield, which is good.
Did you pipe up? Did you give him an answer?
No, I didn't actually, because obviously I was away, so I didn't see his tweet in time. But I would have. Somebody suggested Marsden chicken, and although it's not fish and chips, I think that was a superb choice. But I prefer the chippies in Clec, to be fair, where I reside. So yeah, that was good that he came over for the game. He interestingly said in the interview that he gave that he wouldn't have come over if we'd have not been in the position that we were. So if there'd have been something on the game, he said he wouldn't have come over, which I think, to be honest, is honest. I think it would have been the right thing to do, because he clearly, obviously, already respects Neil to know that with him being in the ground, there would have been a slight, attention on him. And if there'd have been something to play for, obviously he would have wanted that to be on the team. So, sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say, Adam's just commented, Harry Hayward's Linthwaite.
Yeah.
Is that a good shout, Steve?
I've never been there, but that was one of the most popular answers to his tweet. So I think Adam's pretty spot on there, to be honest, by all accounts. I'll have to try
get yourself there, Steve.
Yeah,
get a reviewing. Come on.
I think we should do a podcast from there one day. I'll have the chippy. But yeah, so where do we go from now? In his interview, he said that it should take no more than 1 or 2 weeks. I think what's probably holding it up now is still the EFL, because we know that anything the EFL does, it takes about 49 years for it to be completed. So it's just tying up those loose ends now. I don't think there's anything stopping the deal. I think probably the checks have been done. They just need to tick a few more boxes and get probably some things signed. And that's it, really. And then it'll be interesting to see when he wants to announce whatever he wants to announce, really. We don't know a lot about his plans for the club, both on and off the field. He's refused to talk about them whilst the season's going on. I think that's out of respect for Dean, and I also think that's out of respect for Neil to get the lads to perform on the pitch. And so we'll just see what happens from now, really. I do want to really hear what he has planned for both on and off the field. We do need to get a manager in place pretty quickly, because we've only got 12 weeks now until the season starts again. It's amazing, isn't it?
Scary, isn't it?
The football season's only ended, and it's 12 weeks away till it starts again.
I need a bigger break after this season, I think.
Well, I think you did. I think at least we're not in a mess.
I need to hibernate, I think, after this season.
We'll come on to Leeds United probably in the next couple of weeks.
Never again. We'll come to
that. So yeah, I think it'll be, there'll be some more information coming out probably by the end of the next sort of week, 2 weeks, by more to the end of March, I think.
Yeah. Huddersfield Town TV, does Steve think Warnock will help decide a new manager for us? Do you think he's going to have any impact in that decision making? Do you think, that wouldn't be that's a pretty good idea, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I think he will. I get the feeling he's got quite a lot of respect for Neil from his couple of tweets that he's put out and what he sort of said on this interview. So I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't ask Neil for his opinion. I don't think Warnock will choose the next manager. I think that is maybe a step too far. I would always say as an owner, you've got to put your belt on the line, really, haven't you? You've got to have your own man. and that's not going to matter to Warnock, is he? You know, he's going to go down to Cornwall and start tractoring about again. So, but I do think he will ask his advice, and I do think Warnock is very willing to give it, by the way, and not just on the managerial position. I think he's probably, he's got a lot of knowledge all over the, but he's been inside football clubs for the last 30 odd years, hasn't he? So he knows what works and what doesn't work. And Kevin Nagel, whilst he has been chairman and owner of the Sacramento Republic, and interestingly, in his American interview, he said that the MLS Championship was of the same standard as our championship over here. He might get a bit of a shock. I'm not going to lie. I think
wow.
He's gonna have to learn pretty quickly that that's not the case, and that the championship is is a ruthless league. And if you get it wrong, like we have this season, bar before Warnock, then you get eaten alive. Let's say, like Wigan have and Blackpool have. So, I think he'll ask his opinion, but I don't think Warnock will choose the next manager. Yeah. I think he might even try and tempt Warnock to stay.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible, unfortunately.
We do have to mention this JBL UFC Jason, who contributes to this channel for Leeds United videos as well. We don't need to hear so much happiness at this stage of the season, please. And I'm inclined to agree with that, I think.
What's his name?
So that's Jason, I believe. Jason. We cover Leeds United with on this very channel.
I'm very
just popping in just to see the vibe of other teams and what's it actually like to support a team and be happy at the moment. It's just interesting. It's a curious thing.
It's very nice, mate. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm really sorry, Jason, that you're not having a good time at the moment. I say that with a slight bit of sarcasm, of course, but I do enjoy your. Is it the same? It's the same guy that you talk regularly with, and So I do enjoy listening to you, Jason. I think you have a very insightful. What do we call us? Pundits? I don't think we are pundits. Are we just like
correspondents?
Contributors. Yeah, yes. Contributors. And I'm certainly no Roy Keane anyway. So, but Jason, very, very good luck for the rest of the season. I think you are coming down. Sam Allardyce is not Neil Warnock. He's not Pep Guardiola, even though he bloody thinks he is. So as much as I know you were all happy to get rid of the other Wally that was in charge, I don't think you've got the right man. But anyway, it's not a Leeds United podcast, so and we don't want to lower the tone.
We don't want to sour the mood. Definitely not.
I'm looking forward to playing next season. Definitely looking forward to playing you.
I can't even get that concept in my head, please. Adam, Warnock will be a good ear to bend. He's the most successful championship manager of all time. Now, is that a fact? Is he the most successul championship manager of all time?
He is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is that on promotions or game, or is it like?
No, it's on promotions because there will be somebody like, say, Wagner or somebody who's coming for one season that will have an absolute rocket of points per game ratio, I would have thought. Because obviously the shorter time you're in charge, the more successful you are in that shorter period, the more the stats get skewed, of course. But it's on promotions. I think he got 6 from this division, or 5. He's got 5 or 6, I think, from the championship alone. He got 8 overall.
Wow. Yeah, Allardyce definitely not in his category. Jason just rounds off as well. He says, thanks, mates. For me, we're down, but for the Hudds fans around, I'm semi-happy you survived. You love the Leeds derby. There you go. So that's gracious. Come on.
No.
That's about the most you're going to get from a Leeds fan.
We both love the Leeds derby, Jason. Not just one side. As big as a club you think you all are, just remember who's got the winning ratio over you. And it's not Leeds United. So
Huddersfield Town Fan TV's come back. He said, you love it more than us, but you play it down all the time.
I agree. And the fact is he's correct. I can't lie. But big respect to Jason. I'm not here to crush Leeds United as much as what the ownership's doing a good job of and the players. But it's just unfortunate you've got a striker as blind as me, haven't you, really, with Bamford. I mean,
can't
I could have finished that Bournemouth chance. I think a 2-year-old child could have finished that chance off.
Well, I can't wait until we do his end of season show. We're going to hopefully get you and Jason on together, as well as Bradford City fans, and also we'll get a bit of Park Avenue on there as well with Lewis Sale. It should be a good little show. That I think definitely.
Yeah, well, there were two of us happy at least.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
I mean, Bradford fans have got a bit of time yet to go, but
yeah, we'll see. Yeah, big game for them coming up next week, or the playoffs rather. So you've survived Huddersfield Town. It's another year in the Championship. In terms of the squad, Steve, because I mean Neil Warnock's come out and said that just by looking at what he's done with the team, it's actually not a million miles away from potentially a team that could be pushing for promotion. I mean, do you agree with that, or do you think there's a lot of work that needs to be done? Or it's hard, isn't it? Because when you haven't got a manager in at the moment, it's tricky, isn't it?
I think Neil's underestimating his own levels of ability. To be quite honest, I think it does need a fair bit of work. We can't possibly go into this next season with the same exact squad. I don't know what the club are going to do really, because the out of contract players are Ward's out of contract, Rhodes isn't, Karoma is, Ruffles might be. So there are a couple, quite a number of players that have been in the first team squad this season that are out of contract. So the club need to decide if they are, good enough, if they think that they're good enough to stay on. It'd be interesting to see what they do with Karoma. They might give him a year deal and try and sell him. Not sure. I don't think they'd get much for Ruffles anyway. But then the younger lads, you've got your Diarras and Kamara coming through. I know that Warnock didn't really play him, but he did say that he'd had an hour meeting with him and has told him what he needs to do. And you'd think, a young lad like him would listen to somebody like Neil Warnock to become a successful player, wouldn't you? But no, obviously we need to keep hold of Lee Nichols. That's number one. We probably need some better centre backs. I'd like to keep Pearson. No, I think the three that are there, Tom Lees, Heilich, and Pearson, are okay, but they're not. If you want to push for promotion in this league, they're not the centre backs that you're probably looking for. Full backs are a big problem for us. Centre midfield, there's needs big work there because Hoggy's not getting any younger. Bless him. I do like Kasumu, but can Kasumu, Radoni, and one other? We probably need one other in there. And then the strikers. Jordan, bless him, he's our top goal scorer this season on 6 goals. That's not really good enough if you wanting to push further up the table. Danny is as good as what he is, and I really thank him for his service across the years he's been at the club. But I don't think he's the standard that you really need if you want to push on up the division. So that needs looking at. And so yeah, there's pretty much every area of the squad needs to be.
Kevin, get your checkbook out, mate.
Well, yeah, but the thing is,
spending all your money here.
Yeah, but the thing is, it doesn't need to cost millions and millions. That's we've seen Derby County do that, and look where they are now. They're a league below us. You've seen other clubs go down there. I mean, Reading spent a lot of money in the past. So it's he disagrees.
Yeah,
our centre back partnership of Heilich, Lees is very good, and Pearson. Yeah, I'm not saying it's not good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's a bad partnership at all. But all I would say is that is it the sort of defence that you want if you're wanting to push on and try and become a top 10 to playoff team in this division? None of them are great on the ball. I would say that none of them are quick, but they have experience and knowledge of being in the position that they need to be. They're solid championship players, yes, but they're not centre backs who are going to push you on, and they're not Christopher Schindler's. Christopher Schindler was great on the ball. He was one of the best ball-playing centre-backs in the division when we had Christopher Schindler. And we played in a style of play which suited him and suited, obviously, Hef alongside him, who was a Pearson type, Heilig type player. So I'm not saying they're bad centre-backs, but they're not centre-backs that are going to try and get you promoted. And it's good to buy new players to push them on. And I'm not saying spend silly money, because I don't to buy players that are going to do it at this level. I think we've seen with Jack, it's taken a season for him to get really up to speed, hasn't it? He scored 12 goals for Wimbledon, and that was in a very poor Wimbledon side that got relegated. But it's taken him a season to get used to this level. I think next season we'll see an even better Jack Radoni. But you can't always expect players to step up. Sorba last season was great. This season's nowhere near it. And that's why he was loaned out to Blackburn. And even at Blackburn, he played the first couple of games, and then they've left him out the team.
Yeah.
So to me, you've got to have a certain level of player at this level, at this division, and we've kind of not had that really.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'd be concerned about. I mean, how do you avoid being in that situation that you were in this season, where you have to make the call to Warnock to get you in and save you? I mean, hopefully there's more stability going forward in pre-season this year. Hopefully you won't have a manager that walks out on you on the first day, which obviously doesn't help. But are you concerned that with how tight things are, that this could easily happen again, and you're back on the phone to Neil next year?
Yeah, well, look at the division this season. I mean, at one stage there were 14 teams in the relegation position. In fact, the division was split. There was everybody in the first half of the division was able to get in the playoffs, and everybody below that half was fighting against relegation. It was crazy, madness. So you're always in danger of going down in this league, unless you're fighting for the playoffs and really doing well. It's all about who we get in. It's all about the sort of manager we get in, the experience he's got. If you go for another Mark Fotheringham who talks out his backside, who thinks he's better than Alex Ferguson, and has been an assistant manager in Germany for 20 years, learning from the best managers that's ever been, then relegation will be confirmed within 10 matches. But if you get somebody proper in, who knows what they're doing, knows how to operate at this level. I'm not saying a Warnock type, but if you get somebody who's clever, then great. I like somebody like Michael Duff from Barnsley. Yes, not being at this level, but he's clearly shown he's got something. The lad at Preston, is it Low?
Yeah.
He's a good. He's done it this season. He knows how to operate. Preston's got. I think they finished 10th. So that
Mark Hughes.
No, not Mark Hughes. Not Mark Hughes. So there's options out there. It would be nice to go nick a manager. I know that we did that with the Cowleys, but that was for a certain type and reason and behind all that. But it'd be nice to go and nick a manager that's been, successful at a club. I mean, the guy at Ipswich, if Ipswich hadn't gone up, but they have, so he's going to stay there, isn't he? But if Ipswich had failed to go get promotion, McKenna had gone and got him. There's loads of good young managers out there that don't talk out the backsides.
Well, Adam here, Fotheringham was a disgraceful appointment. Can't stand the guy. Good job Chris isn't on this video today, isn't it? Blimey, he'd have something to say about that.
Well, yeah, I've obviously I think I've given it to Chris a bit too much in this podcast. So I'll let him off. Since we've stayed up, I'll be nice.
Good stuff. Well, Steve, thank you very much for joining us. It's gonna be fascinating actually to see how it unfolds for Town over the course of the summer. Like you say, it's frightening how close again the next season actually is, and a lot of work to be done. But we'll be keeping updated with you throughout the season. Jason's just thrown one in there. Javi Gracia.
Yeah, Jason, you can keep Gracia. Well, no, you can't because you've got rid of him. We don't want him. We don't want any Leeds managers from the last 20 years. Thanks very
What, you
much.
took Warnock? He was an ex-Leeds manager. Come on, that worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, but he was also an ex-Town manager, so that
enough.
discounts that really.
Fair enough. But yeah, looking forward to keeping you updated throughout the summer. See what the crack is. See who the new players are that come in. See who the manager is. We'll be back again shortly to have a look at that as well. Please, if you've enjoyed the video, please do pop a like on the video. Also, subscribe to the channel for more content on Huddersfield Town and other teams across the region. And also, share it with your mates. Share it with your town mates as well. Why not? Why not? Spread the word. Spread the word. I've been Steven Browne. With me has been Stephen Downs from the Huddersfield Hub. Steve, thank you very much, mate.
See you later.
And we'll see you next week. Thank you.